What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Boutique podcast. That's right. This is the Geek Boutique. We are the Geeks and Company. My name is JS. And of course, I got some company with me tonight. My brother Jeff, my brother Rob. Gentlemen, how are you two doing in this fine week?
Fantastic.
Is this year over? It's been a hell of a year already, Jeff. It's only been 16 days. Fantastic. Yeah, work is dead, so that's good. And lots of stuff going on in the background. And we're kind of doing a little something not different with the podcast, but we're kind of giving it a little bit more structure while at the same time inviting more conversation. As opposed to
and giving you a little bit of flair, and you know, we're gonna structure the podcast a little bit differently. And I want to make sure everybody understands we're not completely changing the way that we do things. We're still going to have the same topical type of episodes that we usually do, but on the regular, when it's just going to be three guys shooting the shit, we wanted to have a little bit more structure for you guys, for when you're listening to the show, not only to make it a little bit easier to digest, but to make it funnier and more interactive and give us the opportunity to go in different directions. So, you'll see in a minute what we mean, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to have segments. It's not going to be a variety show, but we're going to have different segments like a lot of podcasts do where they have different segments for different things. And that's what we're going to do. Some are going to be funny. Some are going to be serious. Some are going to be down.
Only took us 3 years to figure this out.
Ridiculous.
Only took us 3 years.
Yes.
Totally lurking while doing inventory at work. Please be entertaining so I don't lose my mind. Toxic Fox. We promise nothing. Chris Gillings, hello everyone. How's it going tonight? Pretty good, Chris. Pretty good. Same flavor. Flavor was a choice. Wish I knew that earlier. Says Myers Corp Cosplay. Hey, at least we go on time, Mike. Red Moon Glassware saying hi, gang. Taking a break from writing report cards. Rob the Bad Guy and I had tuned in to the Monday Night Nerd, which we thought started at 7:00, and it's like 7:02, 7:03.
Like, is this thing working? I'm refreshing my browser.
At that point, it's just Rob and I chatting in his chat, and he's not even on the screen yet because he hasn't gone live yet. So I don't know what our boy Michael Myers had going on Monday, but time is key, sir. Time is key. Hi, gang.
As we are late.
Yes, as we are late. We were like a minute. Not even. Come on, man. Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, yes, we did. Nada, hi, everyone. Hello, Nada. Yeah, we're going to change the format a little bit, guys. It's still going to be three middle-aged assholes just being assholes. Like, that's not going to change, obviously. So
no. That's just gonna that's just the reality of what this.
That's what works. So
let's be honest.
Yeah,
Nada, I hope you're feeling better. Nada got some surgery on her eyeballs
again, on the eyeballs.
Hopefully you're feeling better. I'm glad that you're actually joining us tonight. At least you're not deaf. That's for sure.
No, that's what we'll have to have.
Hopefully
we'll have described video going on in the background. Described video is just one line: 3 old men being assholes. That's the described video for this podcast.
It's just like generic rambling and asterisks.
Yes, hey, why not?
Old men shake fist at clouds. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Guys, if you have not liked and subscribed, please do. Well, specifically, if you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing?
You guys are a bit blurry, but it's all good. I feel like that's probably for the best.
Well, I feel like everything's always a little bit blurry, but
yeah, if you're not subscribed at this point, what?
Yeah, hit that subscribe
button. Do you even
button.
know how YouTube works?
Like what you see here is like 60% of the team. And by the way, you've noticed if you're watching this on YouTube, there was no like sponsor lead-in or like monetization. Like all of this is in our free time and completely out of our own pocket. So, hey man, helping us out with a little sub doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us out tremendously for this little operation that could. So you all look younger. Well,
Nada trying to score some points here.
Yep, I appreciate that. I don't know if all this gray and this beard is making me look younger, but if you can't see it, we'll go with that.
So make sure you click that well, specifically that subscribe button. The like button really helps us out as well. It really helps propagate our videos. It lets new people in on what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And any kind of commenting after the video goes off the air, or I know you guys love to comment while we're live, which is fantastic because the conversation is always banging during the Geek Boutique podcast. go back and comment on some of the questions that we asked. That really, really lets us, because sometimes we're not reading all of the comments. That's the other thing too. I should mention, we don't always, when we're in the conversation, have time to read all of the comments. But it also lets YouTube know, hey, there's an interaction with this video. We should show it to more people. So appreciate that.
Hey, all, says Andrew Saxon. Hey.
What's up, everybody? What's the new start?
When's the new start?
This is it.
You're looking at
New
it.
start. This is it. And what should the new start with, Jeff?
I believe it should probably start with the news. Good evening. Welcome. This is the news, brought to you by the Geeks and Company. You're never too old to be a geek. Our top story. What did we talk about last week? JS has decided on a new Star Wars character that he's going to cosplay. Baylan Skoll from season 1 of Ahsoka. It had been revealed that we were going to get a season 2 of Ahsoka, that Dave Filoni was writing in its entirety, but the fate of Baylan Skoll was still up in the air this time last week. If you've seen season 1 of Ahsoka, he kind of just wanders off on his own by himself. We weren't sure if, because the ending was so ambiguous, that they would just drop the plot line altogether, or he would suggest maybe he died off screen, or they could recast him. Well, kids, it's exactly what they did. Rory McCann is going to step in for the late, great Ray Stevenson, who unfortunately passed away right after filming was complete on season 1 of Ahsoka. If you don't know who Rory McCann is, he is another British actor, tall, broad-shouldered, imposing, lots of gravitas, much like Ray. But you would know him best as Sandor Clegane or the Hound from Game of Thrones. He's been in Hollywood. He's kicked around. He's done a bunch of roles and a bunch of different things, but that's what he's most known for. JS, what do you guys think? Nate is saying so excited for Rory McCann. Folly got in on a live one. It's been a bit. Alfie, engineer, guys, thank you so much for joining us. What do you guys think, too? And what does the chat think as far as this? Did you want Baylan recast, especially how we lost Ray in the first place? Did you think it would just be a write-off in the sunset? If he was going to be recast, are you okay with it being Rory McCann? Is there somebody else that you thought would have been good in the role? Where are you guys on this one?
Those are all very good questions. Holy shit. I feel like I should have come prepared for this. I just think it's hilarious that we discussed both last week. We discussed both Ahsoka and Baylan Skoll specifically, and the Mountain. And
not 12 hours later.
Yeah,
dude, I
literally the
was
next day.
Announced while we were on the podcast. Because
maybe.
I think it might have been Keith who sent me a post after the podcast. Sent me a post, and it was somebody announcing, "Hey, Disney hasn't announced this yet, but so Andrew Saxon, what's up, buddy? He has a very good point there. He was the most interesting part of Ahsoka. I'm a Clone Wars fan, and I was a huge Rebels.
No.
And Ahsoka is basically a direct continuation of Rebels. Now, not to take away from anything, I know some people hated the show, some people loved the show. I thought the show was pretty good, but not amazing. But Baylan really was the standout. If it wasn't for Baylan, that show would have been trash. He was the standout on that show, the best new character to come out of like Disney Star Wars. 100% best new character to come out of Disney Star Wars. So I'm glad they're recasting him, although it's going to be weird.
It's always weird when they recast somebody that you grew used to and loved, and then that actor either dies or gets fired and changes it out. It's always a little bit weird. I don't know too much of what the new guy has done outside of Game of Thrones. I know he's done a lot of stuff, but I want to hope, we'll really see what his acting chops are like and how he can take on this role. I'm excited to see that. So I'm totally willing to give him a chance. I think it's a good call. Obviously they see something that I haven't seen yet, but I don't have my finger on the pulse of what he's done in the past, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. I really like that character.
I think it's interesting that it's clear that they couldn't just they must have a plan for Baylan that was already in place that's integral to the story. Otherwise, because you're right, Rob, not all recasts are the same, right? Like when Terrence Howard left being Rhodey and it ended up being Don Cheadle, or when Ed Norton left being the Hulk and it ended up being Mark Ruffalo, those were money issues or scheduling issues or whatever. Like that's just the nuts and bolts in the business of Hollywood. I get behind that. I don't love it either, but I mean, this guy died and unexpectedly and too young, and this really seemed to be finally a role that he would really be able to bring all of his skills and resources to. Big, imposing,
it felt like it was made for him.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm a little iffy on the recast, only from the sense of I almost wish they had just let him right off into the sunset, that character, and had like a little quip about it, and then that was it. But again, now that he's actually, if he's there, he has to be there because he's integral to whatever the plot's going to be. So
yeah,
that character, I mean, right?
In the chat, it's not like Disney did something shady. This has got a love.
No,
100%. So yeah.
And you're right that if you had asked me before they announced they were recasting him what I would have liked to see, I almost feel like I would have preferred to see his story get told either in animation, right, so you take that story and you spin that off into its own animated series, and then you tell the rest of Balin's story animated, or you somehow CG one scene where he gets disfigured and goes, mask, helmet, something covering his face. And then it doesn't matter who's.
To be fair, they may still. They may have something in universe that explains why he looks different now, right?
Yeah, they may still.
It's
so that
yes, he did, by the way, Andrew. Yes, he did voice the Duke on Vox Machina. Actually, Megan and I just watched the episode. Megan and I just watched the episode where he premiered, and we mentioned that on the after show for that episode. So that is Rory McCann.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Duke. Yeah, I expect. And Nate saying, I think people will be kind. I expect, depending on how those first couple of episodes work and what they end up doing with Balin, I think it might split the fan base a little bit, because I'm sure there's going to be people like me that were like, we should have just let it go. So I think it depends. I'll tell you this. Let me just say this. If McCann either is just not good in the role, or if ultimately Balin Skull has no real impact on the plot overall, then people are going to be like, why did you do this? Like, you could have 100%. It. But if Balin ends up being a very important part, I know towards the end, he was near the statues of the Mortis gods and you could see the light in the distance or whatever. So if that all ends up being something really important, then I'm on board 100%. So I guess we will find out. In Rings of Power, they replaced a key character and it was fine. And that is a rabid fan base. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not saying you can't replace a character. You absolutely can. I listed 2 examples from the MCU alone. You can absolutely recast guys, but it has to make sense. And it has to be to me, it has to be for a good reason, right? So, Rob, you got something?
I was just going to say, and the jury's still out on how this is going to turn out, but like when they recast Henry Cavill in The Witcher, I'm not sure that's I think that's an example from the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that even out yet?
No,
I don't know. It's not out, but
they're shooting seasons 4 and 5 back to back, and that 5th season is the final season.
It probably should.
So they've already determined all of that ahead of time. As soon as Henry left, they're like, we're going to do 2 more seasons. It's going to be Liam Hemsworth. We're going to do them back to back, and then that's going to be it. So I'm not going to lie to you, man. Even season 3 was a struggle. Even with Henry on that show just took a nosedive in the worst possible way. So
yeah, I kind of lost interest.
Yeah, season 3 was weird, eh?
Yeah. Even season 2, I was like, season 1 for that show was amazing, and then it was just a kind of a steady decline after that, for sure.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Unfortunately, I don't see Liam Hemsworth saving that franchise. But hey, guys, could
listen,
be wrong.
You never know.
Maybe
man.
he's going to kill it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like Liam Hemsworth.
Know.
Right? Dumbledore actor was replaced because of actor death, so it happens, and fans can be expecting it was done. Fair. I guess the problem there is those books were written. That character was a main. This is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Like, you can't tell the story of Harry Potter without Dumbledore, so you have to recast him.
Right.
So now, to me, that makes it worthy, I guess, of a recast. If they recast Balin Skull just because they're going to put another toy out and then they don't do anything with them, well, then maybe we should have done that. Maybe we should just let the role die with Ray. But that's all I'm trying to say.
It's another thing too. If they get recast in season 1 and then they go on to do 5 more seasons, you almost forget that it was
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this. With the Dumbledore situation, I mean, unless most casual watcher that watched, when they came out, probably didn't even realize that they replaced them. right?
It's cute that you think there's a lot of casual watchers of Harry Potter.
There is
Like the most rabid
I've
fan
seen the
base on the
movies,
planet.
but I when I first watched the movie, I hadn't realized that they had replaced them.
All right, well that's fair. I mean, you are a very casual fan, but I mean,
100%.
Yeah. No,
But
you make an excellent point.
Anyway,
moving on.
What else is going on in the news?
Well, hearkening back to the days, if you recall, cast your mind back, folks, put your quarter in the Wayback Machine and go back to the heady days of when Netflix was given the chance to make some television shows that connected very loosely to the MCU. We got a bunch of them. Not all of them were great, but one of them that was pretty much universally decided was pretty great was Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Rob is very excited. The trailer, by the way, a little trivia note here for you. This show is coming out in March.
Yes.
It's already January, and this is the first trailer. So from when the first trailer finally drops to when the show premieres, this is the shortest window Marvel has ever given themselves between a trailer and a show.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Interesting.
So I don't know why they've waited so long. Now, I know this show, they were halfway through filming it and they scrapped all of that and they went back and started literally from the beginning because the tone wasn't akin to the Netflix show. Mm-hmm. But the Daredevil trailer dropped. It is not shy about showing you some visceral, brutal action that very much calls in mind those Netflix shows. What did you guys think of the trailer? And are you excited? And are you going to be watching Daredevil Born Again?
I'm absolutely going to be watching it for sure. I'm super excited.
Did you watch the Netflix, like all 3 seasons of the Netflix show? Did you dig it? Did you check out any of the other Netflix shows when they were coming
I watched
out?
all of them. Jessica Jones. I even watched Iron Fist.
Luke Cage.
What's it called? Yeah, Luke Cage. No, I was thinking the one where they're all together. Was it that?
The Defenders. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched all of that, but Daredevil's the best. Punisher as well. Although Punisher's, we could get into a whole thing about that, but some of the best scenes of Punisher was in Daredevil season 2.
Yes.
Right. Right.
So super excited to see Frank Castle back in the trailer.
So can we talk about that for a quick second? So Frank's back.
Mm-hmm.
We saw him in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Bullseye's back. We saw him in the trailer.
Yep.
Obviously
Kingpin.
Kingpin and Vanessa are back. We saw them in the trailer.
Yep.
Karen
and Foggy.
Foggy.
Yep.
No, they're not back.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. Those initial episodes, I think they got literally 4 episodes filmed done in, and then they took a look at what they had and they were like, nope. And I think at that point, it wasn't meant to be almost a continuation of the Netflix series. It didn't have a lot of those key players from that original series in it. And that's when they were like, no, fuck this. Like it worked on Netflix. Clearly. Why are we messing with that? Let's do that. And it looks like they're because some of those fight scenes. I'm like, this is a Disney. This is gonna be on Disney.
Yeah, this is Disney. Like
this is Disney. Like he's just breaking arms and legs and fucking like.
This is the trailer.
That's exactly. That's the trailer. I love Foggy. Guy to see him back. Nada is so stoked. Keith L saying so excited. Love the Netflix shows and can't wait.
I am cautiously optimistic about this show. You know, how many times have we seen a trailer and been like, wow, this is kick-ass, this looks amazing. And then you see the movie and you're like, oh, fuck, this fucking sucks. Right? So I'm cautiously optimistic.
Fair.
The trailer seems to have the right tone. Will the show actually have the right tone? I freaking hope so.
I want to believe, I
hope so.
I know everybody talks about Moon Knight, but let's be fair. He's Marvel's Batman. Like there's no question. That's what he's doing. He's out there brutally beating people up to stop crime. And he's got like a main guy that's always after him, and then the little cadre of villains as well, like Bullseye and everything else. Like it really is Marvel's Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
He speaks to like you can see like enthusiasm in the chat.
100%.
Everybody has a little bit like everybody wants a little bit of that violence, right?
Especially from the MCU, right? Yeah,
it works.
MCU, it's a little bit of a different tone from the phase we're in. What is it, 5 to 6?
18.
I think we're kind of 17, whatever.
Place.
Wrapping up a little bit of that.
Horseshit.
I think I have a lot of optimism for the next phase here. I'll just leave it at that. Save that for a different show, but
Now,
looks
do
like we
you
might be
think-
swinging back towards some good stuff here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and do you think if now I don't know what his availability would be, but if you because like you said, they're bringing Castle back for this as well, right?
Yeah.
So do you think they might have a chance to do the same thing that they did on the Netflix shows, where if Castle is so popular that they'll maybe give him his own Disney Plus show and continue on with that little kind of pocket of the MCU? Is that something that
Guaranteed that's what they're going for. I mean, why would they bother bringing him back, right? I mean, it makes no sense to bring the Punisher back for season 4 basically of Daredevil unless you want to bring back his show.
right?
Not necessarily, unless he adds enough to the Daredevil show just to make that a kick-ass show. Like, I'm not saying he couldn't carry his own show, and he did obviously for several seasons.
Yeah, but
But
we've
they
had that
could-
already.
That's my
Right?
point, is to say, like, maybe they don't want to do that. And they're like, no, we're just going to leave Castle in this show.
No, but what I
As
mean
part of
is
the
we've
show,
already
as
had
part of the
a
show.
Daredevil Punisher crossover show, right? That was Daredevil season 2, right?
And which was the best.
Well, it was. You're right. I'm not gonna argue that. It
Daredevil
by
season
far-
2? Oh, that was my least favorite of, of them.
Oh, I loved
There's
it.
one particular
not
scene
Daredevil. Yeah, Daredevil
in
season
mind for me that.
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
does
no, that's
it.
fair. Andre saying the violence worked for the Penguin. Absolutely. Now that world was already a gritty, because that's coming out of the Batman. That was already like a gritty, grimdark world in the first place, whereas the MCU is very much not that. But those MCU shows that were on Netflix sure were. Like, they weren't pulling any punches on those shows because they were on Netflix. They had an opportunity to do things that the
Yeah.
Marvel, because that's pre-Disney Plus even, right? And they were able to do things that they couldn't do on the ABC shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and certainly they couldn't do in the movies. Paul's bringing up a good point, though, too. Interesting to see how they mix this in with the rest of the MCU. So you guys are talking about like a spinoff or whatever. I still think they're just trying to bring as many people back as they can so that they can jam them all into Secret Wars.
100%.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're going to get you back for this particular show, and we're going to have you sign this contract that says when we call you for even one day of shooting on Secret Wars 2 years from now, you've got to show up and you've got to do that scene.
Mhm.
That's the deal.
That's
That's
the
what we're
deal.
paying you
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Otherwise, like you said, like we've already done this. Like, we already had Castle on Daredevil, and he was easily the best part of that season 2.
Yeah, and Andrew Saxon saying there are early agreements in place now for a Punisher show to follow, but depends on the Daredevil performance.
There you go.
So yeah, if it's like killer and people they think they can spin a second show out of it, they will. Otherwise, they might have a really great show on their hand, and that's enough, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Are you guys, so Rob, you're watching it for sure. There's no question there. JS, are you going to check it
Oh,
out?
I'm
yeah.
watching it for sure.
Yeah,
and I've
I'm
been
gonna be
seeing
watching
people in stories saying like I'm renewing my Disney Plus for this. And
Yep.
This could potentially be the best Marvel Disney Plus show to date.
Hopefully.
hopefully,
I mean,
I don't want to jinx it.
I remember you and I saying the same thing about Secret Invasion, and
Yeah,
wow,
you're right. What a
that.
piece of fucking hot pile of green
Holy
garbage that
Didn't even
was.
watch
But
that, yeah.
I'm glad they're kind of getting him back to his roots, because the last 2 times we've seen him was the cameo that he had in Spider-Man No Way Home,
Mhm.
and then the scenes that he had in She-Hulk, right? So this
Well, I
this
haven't seen that. So
yeah, I mean, that was played for comedic effect, but it was actually Charlie Cox, and it was actually Daredevil. So this will be getting him, I think, more back to the Daredevil that we know and love, and I think that's important for those Marvel fans that spent that time on those Netflix shows and essentially got it. Like Rob's saying, like, people are fucking hyped to shit for the show. You better bring it, and you better bring it correct.
Yeah,
Okay?
correct.
Don't fuck around.
Mhm.
You start putting a bunch of quippy bullshit and things that, like, that's not going to work in this. That's not what this is for, man.
I
No.
do feel though that to me it looks like they're trying to tell you in that trailer that the Daredevil that we're seeing is the Daredevil that was in She-Hulk. And that's why we get that one scene where he opens up the cabinet and all the cowls are there, including the yellow one from She-Hulk.
No, for sure. I think
Right?
it is funny that people have already started memeing that, because, of course, dude can't see colors, so he's got no idea that there's different colored helmets on that shelf because he can't see colors. But anyways, too funny. Daredevil was also an Echo, and Kingpin was an Echo. I knew Kingpin was an Echo in Hawkeye. I didn't know Daredevil was an Echo. Okay, so that's good.
Oh, that's right. He had one scene at the beginning.
Okay.
The opening scene of Echo is where she fights him. Well,
Okay.
I don't know if it's the opening scene, but it's in the first episode.
Okay.
And that's
Not
where
bad.
Kingpin, that's where Fisk is like,
Small.
we need to keep
small
her
nuts
around.
I'm guessing that's supposed to say Luke Cage and not Luke Cafe. By the way, new superhero Luke Cafe means to make coffee. Really good coffee. Luke Cafe. I'm guessing that's supposed to be Luke Cage. Andre saying there was a small nod to Luke Cafe's bar in the trailer as well.
Cage's bar, yeah.
Final bit of news, guys, and we're going to end on a bit of a somber note. Sorry, we got 2 pieces of news left, and then I'll turn it over to our Cosplay Corner feature.
Oh, well, hang on. Do we have any community news this week?
No, hold on. I got 2 more pieces of news, and then he can do the community news, and then we'll do the Cosplay Corner.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Perfect.
Sad news in the world of film. Filmmaker David Lynch, he of the original Dune, Eraserhead, Blue Velvet, has passed away today at age of 78. And of course, probably his most famous work is Twin Peaks. And the people that love Twin Peaks fucking love Twin Peaks. I'm not going to lie, I never got into it, but beloved filmmaker. I was having a conversation earlier with Michael Icon, and he was like, you know what? 78 is not bad for a guy that chain smoked his whole life. I'm like, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But it's a loss for sure, right? To the film world itself. I'm not one of those people that gets really overworked about celebrity deaths and such. The people, we all die. It happens, but this guy contributed some amazing works to the world of film and art. So yeah, he's definitely going to be missed, man. That's a shame. Oh, definitely. Wow, hell, I adore Twin Peaks. Yeah, the people that love Twin Peaks love Twin Peaks. Holy smokes. I don't know a lot of people that were into it, but the people that were into it were like, that was their whole life was Twin Peaks. It became part of their identity. I should have checked it out. I never did. Apparently it's really weird, but really cool.
Yeah,
I do like me some Kyle MacLachlan for sure.
No, I've never checked out Twin Peaks. Is this last piece of news the piece of news that
I finally get to share? Yep.
Yeah. That I almost spoiled.
That you almost spilled the beans on before the beans were still cooking. The beans weren't even done yet. They were still in the pot.
No, they were still in the crock pot.
We are pretty excited about this for Jeff.
I mean, yeah, TP forever. There you go. That is also very cool. Cineplex is currently playing a bunch of David Lynch movies, including 7, which I caught. Is 7 Lynch or is 7?
I didn't realize.
Fincher. I always mix up the Davids. Did he do 7 or did David Fincher do 7?
Well, let's have the chat fact check that.
That's my bad because I always mix those 2 dudes because they're both like filmmakers that do like kind of weird films. I mean, David Lynch is super weird, but I mean, I always kind of mix them up. But I thought that was Fincher that did 7.
It was Fincher.
Fincher did 7. That's what I thought. Okay. Because they were all the articles that I've seen were listing Lynch's movies, and they weren't listing 7 as one of them. And I'm like, if he did 7, I'm sure that would be listed there. But yeah, sorry guys, not to cut off the conversation about Mr. Lynch, but yes, if there were those of you that attended London Comic Con or even CK Expo last year, you may have had a chance to see a small independently made film about it's like a biker drama that yours truly is the star of, weirdly enough. We did that movie like we've done all the films that we've done over the course of myself and Robert Bellamy and his crew through JX3 Media out of pocket on the fly. We were able to screen the movie last year at the Windsor Center for the Performing Arts, and a representative from Bell Canada was there and asked us to submit our little feature to them as a pilot, as it were, to see if they could approve funding for it. And I'm happy to say and proud to say, especially of all my friends at JX3 Media and the entire crew that have worked on A Long Ride Home, we have been granted funding for the feature. Thank you. Thanks. Very cool. Very, very cool. So yeah, the tentative title is still A Long Way Home. The way it's going to work, we're going to start filming in May. We're going to film through the spring and summertime and hopefully end the filming in early fall. We will submit it to Bell. Bell 5 is where it will air. So you have to be a Bell customer to be able to see it. I'm sure it's going to get toured around after that, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Bell has asked us to make 6 episodes. So we're going to refilm all the film that we've already done. So the entire movie is going to get redone, but it's going to get done as 6 individual episodes. They're going to have it on Bell 5 for 6 months. And in fact, Rob's going to tell them, like, they're going to give us those 6 episodes back after the 6 months, but Rob's going to tell them, like, they can still keep it and they can air it whenever they want to air it. But when Rob gets it back, Rob is going to recut it into 1 2-hour long feature. and he's going to tour the film festival circuit and such with that particular feature. So Rob has been making films for almost 15 years now. This is the first time that any of his films have received outside funding from an outside source, and especially a source like Bell Canada. So he's very, very excited. Huge congratulations to him. And then, yeah, for the whole cast and crew for A Long Ride Home. We do have to do a couple of recasts. In fact, someone that responded in this chat may be involved in the film. We are still looking to cast as well. There's a couple of roles we're looking to cast. The filming does take place in the Chatham and Windsor area, so it would involve a little bit of travel on your part if you're not already in that area. But I'm probably going to be putting some stuff in my stories about looking for some specific folk for casting. So we're all very, very excited, and we're all like almost giddy that we're finally going to be able to do this and get paid to do it, which seems like
that's nuts, eh?
The weirdest thing ever. It reminds me of the first time I was paid to be a cosplayer. I was like, what?
You're going to pay for that? You're
going to pay me to dress up like it and act like an idiot, which is exactly what I'm doing in this too. So yeah, it's I can't watch myself act, but I am proud of the crew and the work that we've done, and the fact that Bell was nice enough to notice us and decide to give us a few shekels to make it better, and we will. So Rob is working on the final draft of the script now, and I say final draft, but it'll get changed right up until the moment we film it. But yeah, man, we're excited. Anyways,
that's for you. We're so proud of you, and we're
thanks,
for you,
guys. Appreciate it.
Excellent job.
Yep. Awesome. Hopefully the first in a line of Equal DR. I'm interested. Yeah, like I said, I'll be putting it up in my stories. I'm obviously going to be putting in very specific things. A couple of the roles were roles that did appear the first time we filmed it, but since then we either have to recast due to what we've already talked about earlier, due to scheduling or whatever, or the person just wasn't right for the role, or what have you. And then there are some roles that we didn't film because we didn't film the whole thing. We only filmed like the first episode. So there are some other roles that also have to be cast moving forward. So if you have acting experience and you're going to fit into these buckets that I'm going to end up posting about, absolutely reach out to me and I can connect you to Rob and get you a conversation at the very least anyway. So that's it, man. That's all I got.
Cool.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for giving me the platform to tell you guys. That's great. It's awesome. You guys have been hugely supportive, especially the people that came out at CK Expo and came out at London Comic Con to watch the film and give me their feedback afterwards of the film. You guys were enormously helpful in getting us to this point. So,
yeah, most of the crew got to see the film. I think me and Rob were actually manning the booth while everybody else,
I believe so.
Yeah, we
taken off to go check out the film.
Yeah.
Now
that it's going to be, now that we're going to now that we're going to refilm the whole thing, I'm hoping that means that Rob is going to allow me to at least get a copy of the film and then show it to people in its current form so they can kind of get a sense of what we're going to be doing. But I don't know. I'm just the dummy. I just go up and say things. He's the production company. That's Rob. So
yeah, that's like the pilot basically, right?
Essentially, yes. So we're going to, and like a lot of pilots do, we have to reshoot the pilot.
Reshoot it. Yeah.
And we're going to recast a couple of the roles. So I will keep you guys posted, but that should be happening right after CK Expo. So we should be shooting in May and hopefully be done shooting by September-ish. So, but yeah, I'll let you know when it's done and I'll let you know when you can view it. Anyways.
Sweet.
Whoever in the chat is a Bell customer will have to somehow rip it and convert it into like a online file so we can all download it and watch it.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna go there. Very cool. When can I steal it?
Jennifer, I appreciate you.
Was there any community news this week?
Roberto,
yeah, there's a few things that I'm going to talk about here.
Wait, hold on. You don't have an intro for community news?
I don't. Well, we decided we weren't going to do one, so
in retrospect, I think we should have one next time.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll try.
And by the way, I think you have to incorporate the show community in that community news in some way, shape, or form.
The show.
I'm just saying. You don't have to, but I think that might be a good idea. Yeah, anyways, go ahead, Rob.
So the idea of this is I'm going to try to keep my eye on what's going on according to what I see in the socials. Share some news about different events coming up, different kinds of news than what Jeff covers. Starting off, Marvel Rivals, probably the latest hero shooting fighting game, is taking the cosplay world by storm. I haven't played the game yet myself, but I would expect to see a whole lot of new cosplays coming out of that game this year. It's kind of like a Fortnite game, but Marvel characters, which honestly, like probably everybody's been dreaming of this their whole life, which is probably why it's huge. But definitely already seeing all kinds of new cosplays coming out of that game. So you're probably going to see that at Fan Expo, Comic-Con. Taking place this weekend is a con called CSC Fan Con.
Hang on. Let's go back to Marvel Knights for a second there.
Marvel Rivals.
So Marvel Rivals. Has everybody seen all the designs?
Mm-mm.
I haven't seen all the designs.
I'm not
you want to
shooters,
take us through
so
some of it?
Yeah, I mean, some of these the suit designs, and like Captain America is like in an armor style design, and they have a different look than you would typically expect, and man, it looks amazing. I almost want them to do an animated movie with some of these looks.
Yeah, and I think that's why
Silky's saying they look amazing. They really do. So that's why you for sure, like Rocket looks like a freaking mad scientist. Like I'm just looking at some of them now, and they look pretty dope. You're gonna definitely see a lot.
That's gonna feed a lot of cosplay.
Oh yeah,
over the next couple of years.
100%, which is good because I feel like I don't know, like the Marvel costume game. I feel like I don't know.
It's nice to have a little bit of some more options on the characters you're familiar with.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying. It's kind of refreshing it a little bit, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. Who will cosplay Jeff the Land?
Look at like he's even like, what are you doing? We don't come onto your podcast and promote our podcast. Cough. Noah and I did an episode talking about him. Cough. Oh, you have guests on your podcast? Who fucking knew? Anyways.
And on that note, coming up this following Monday, the Geeks and Co. here will be special guests on the Michael Myers Monday Night Nerd this Monday, 7 p.m. on his YouTube channel. So be sure to check that out.
Actually, it'd probably be like 7:04 or 7:05. But
yeah.
Whenever we show up.
Yeah.
Just be the four
whenever
of us.
He hits the button. What are we talking about on that episode? I don't remember.
Multiverse.
We're
going to be talking about multiverses and our different.
Oh, good. Something that we've come to hate. That's good. That'll be good. That'll be nice.
Somebody remind me to do a little bit of research before that show because I have no idea. Just kidding.
Should be good. Yeah, tune in for that, guys.
Moving on, event taking place this weekend at the International Center is CSC Fan Con. We won't be there.
No.
But one of the big things about that is they're more focused on anime, K-pop, or J-pop type of stuff. So if you're into that, you're going to want to check that out. But especially if you're into cosplay competitions, something notable about that con is they have the 2025 Nordic Cosplay Championship Canadian qualifiers are taking place at this event. So the best in show from that cosplay competition will represent Canada at the Nordic Cosplay Championships in Sweden. It's a big deal. I understand if you're into the whole cosplay competition world. So I know a lot of people in the scene are going to that. So I hope you have fun.
Actually pretty cool.
What's that?
It's actually pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I know they do a lot of video game stuff. They do a lot of that idol stuff that we saw at Game Expo.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love that they're doing like a major cosplay competition, right? They're actually doing a qualifier for what sounds like a big deal, right? So
a big international deal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not into that, but maybe we should have somebody on one day that is like somebody that's what they do, right? Is competition stuff, right? Because I don't really know that world a lot. It's never something that's interested me. It's wicked that they do that. It's just
it's pretty neat. I've been seeing some stories. Even the effort that people put into their build books. I know you and I talked about that years ago and was like, we didn't put a build book together for the one thing we went into. But after I saw some pretty cool stories this week about the build books, people are coming in from like all over Canada just to come to this show to have a shot at going to Sweden. And the effort they're putting into their build books, let alone their cosplays, is phenomenal. So it's a pretty big deal if you're into that. And that's the International Center in, I think it's Mississauga, this weekend, January 18th and 19th. So have fun if you're going.
Hall 3 and 4. Is that what I'm seeing here? Hall 3 and 4.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. January 18th and 19th.
Moving on. Speaking of Game Expo, I think they're still open for cosplayer guest applications. I know I saw a post about that last week. So if you'd like to guest at that con, which is one of our new favorite cons, we're going to be there this March. So reach out, go to their Instagram, take a look there. If you want to be a guest at their event, reach out to them. Tickets are also on sale for Game Expo, which is, help me out here, the 29th, 30th, I think it is. 2 weeks after Comic-Con. Jeff, I can't hear you. You're muted or something.
I was muted while I took my sweater off. Yes, you are correct, sir. 29th and 30th, 2 weeks after Toronto Comic-Con. Yep.
Perfect. Speaking of Toronto Comic-Con, tickets are on sale for that now. So if you're going to that, you can get your tickets.
Ooh, and you see they've already announced a couple of guests too.
They did.
So we got Jared Padalecki from Supernatural.
Yes.
And
Who
the
else?
reboot of Walker, Texas Rangers. And James Marsters, they just announced as well. So he was Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And he's a very accomplished voice actor. He's probably in DC. He has voiced Lex Luthor almost as many times as Clancy Brown has. He's also myself. I'm a huge fan of a book series called The Dresden Files, which is 17 books in, and he does the audio books, the audio narration for all of those Dresden File books.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So for a lot of people that are huge Dresden Files guys like me, Marsters is the voice of Harry Dresden. Like for them, they can't hear anybody else.
Interesting.
Yeah. Brainiac on Smallville too. Yes, he was Brainiac on Smallville too.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going to be there as well. So yeah, cool, Rob.
Very cool. It's kind of amazing how and I learned most of this through you guys, but the voice acting roles that a lot of people do, like I'd have no idea if it wasn't for this
nerds,
for us and the people in the chat. If it wasn't for nerds, it's like I had no idea they did all that voice acting.
He's so good narrating Dresden. Yes, he is. He's not what I hear in my head when I read Dresden, but he does a very good job with it for sure. Yep. Yep.
A couple more things. Sorry, Jess.
Go ahead.
You want to follow up on
No,
that?
hit us. No, give us.
Something else I saw going on here. Rotide Media, who seems like he was 2024's standout photographer of the year, doing a Star Wars Hoth shoot February 2nd. If you want to be part of that, and perfect time to do it here in the winter time. Get out in touch. Reach out to Rotide. We have no kind of a part of that or affiliation with that, but we're big Star Wars fans, so probably a really cool opportunity to go do some photo shoots there if you want to reach out to him.
Do you remember where he said it's going to be?
I don't. I can't remember. Andre's going to be there. Andre, can you let us know in the chat whereabouts that's going to be?
I think he's Justin said that Crazy Mike's going to be there as well.
I hope so, because that's who I thought of when he said a Hoth shoot. But
he is not now.
Really?
No?
It's the logistics are not going to work out, unfortunately. So
it's kind of far. Yeah. So Arendelle Park in Mississauga. So
yeah,
a little bit of a journey for Crazy Mike. But
yep.
So reach out to Rotide, reach out to Justin if you're interested in being part of that. And I got two more pieces here. So I had reached out to the community. So if you guys have things that you want me to maybe bring up during one of these segments that are relevant to what we do here, feel free to DM me and I will do my best to raise that. Steph reached out to me when I put that out in my story. So I'm just going to call out her event that she mentioned. If you're in the same St. Catharines area, there's a place there called Ludology Cafe. It's at LUDOLOGY Cafe. They're having a couple cool events going on. They're a board game cafe. They have a couple events with a cocktail workshop and Bob's Burger Trivia. Which is what caught my attention because Bob's Burgers is pretty awesome. So
fantastic show.
Cool trivia game there. Go check them out at Ludology Cafe on Instagram for more info or reach out to Steph. She's in the chat. And finally, this just came up as the podcast was loading here today. Probably the worst kept secret of the week, but Nintendo Switch has just announced the Switch 2 coming out.
We knew earlier this week that the announcement was coming today, and I was like, "Ooh, I got to look that up before the podcast," and I didn't.
Yeah, no, I loaded up
honestly,
Instagram
to
to go to the
see.
message for this.
Yeah.
And it was like right there. So Toronto Game Expo had reposted it from their big sponsor. Oh my God,
GameStop.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
And I was looking at this yesterday because ironically our Switch broke a couple days ago, and then my wife was like, "Hey, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get a new one."
Yeah.
It's said to be rumored to be 4K and on par with probably the PS4 Pro, which is pretty awesome for a handheld device. So expect to see some new Mario games. I don't know who plays the Mario stuff anymore these days, but a bunch of
way
new
to
Mario
bring it all back
games
around.
coming back around. So that's
I just want to point out
this
that Rob, let's go back a couple months ago when we were talking about doing the top 10.
Well, that's what he's referencing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he's
top 10 franchises.
Top 10
I think
video
we're talking
game
about
franchises.
Top
He's
10
like,
video game franchises.
you old folks are out of
yeah.
touch. No one plays
Who
Mario
plays
anymore.
Mario? He's like, the fuck?
I can add a little bit to the Nintendo Switch 2 rumors that have come out. A price point rumor has already come out at $449 for the base console, $499 with the launch game. Hey, Rob, what's the launch game?
Oh, I think there's actually two launch games.
The
one,
only one
Mario Kart 9.
the new Mario Kart 9.
The only one that matters.
A Mario game on a Nintendo launch? Games will be shown at Nintendo Direct April 2nd, is saying Andre. I was just about to bring that up too. So but we don't have a release date yet. So that news dropped today. I got a message from my son 1 minute after that went online saying that's what I want for Christmas. So
yeah.
I'm really hoping it gets released at some point this year and that price point comes down a little bit because that's not confirmed by Nintendo, that price point, by the way. That would be significantly more expensive than the Switch was originally. So
yeah, that's quite a jump.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why. It doesn't matter if it's 4K. I mean, it's this big. Like, I don't understand. It's supposed to be an inch bigger, right?
Well, you dock those and you can play them on your TV, obviously, right? So if
it did say 2025, Victoria.
Well, fair enough.
4K on your TV.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah. So anyway, that's that's the news I have for this week. What's going on in the scene? Again, you have things tips you want to send me, things you want me to talk about, events that are relevant. Please send them to me in DM. Send them to Geeks and Co. Send them to me, Rob the Bad Guy. I will do my best. If I think it's relevant to talk about here, we'll talk about it.
Rob is the community guy.
Rob the community guy.
Rob the community.
I got all kinds of roles.
The
right?
fat guy, the builder, the community guy.
There you go. There you go.
He's a
Hey, the more we keep him
man,
involved,
kid.
the less he can leave, right? Then he's stuck.
Yeah, I'm
he's
official.
too involved.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He lost without him, kids.
Guys, we've been on for almost an hour already, and I think it's time, because we're getting to the end of the show, we move on to our next new segment that we like to call Cosplay Corner. All right. I already know Jen's going to tell me that this intro is too long, and I know it's longer than the other ones, but it looks cool. So, it's a little longer. What are you going to do?
Add 15 seconds to it. That's what I say.
In this brand new segment we call Cosplay Corner, we will be featuring maybe not every week, but, whenever we get a chance, we're going to try to do this every week. We're going to try real hard to do this every week. Where we're going to feature somebody from the magnificent cosplay community. Of course, we're going to start with the faithful. And, I feel like this guy's been winning so much. He's the winner of the year. So why not be the first person to be featured on Cosplay Corner? Of course, our good buddy, Andre.
The Raffle Master.
The Raffle Master.
That's right.
Dope.
Yeah, when I saw this shot, I was like, he's got to be first. Like, Andre's dope. This is a great photo.
Now, if you don't know Andre, I mean, you haven't been going to cons, because Andre is the one guy that goes to like literally every single fucking convention on the planet
and event.
I
still remember the Cosmos in the District last year. This Luke Cage dude comes walking up. I have never seen this dude before in my life. I had no idea who he was. Didn't know him from Adam. Had no idea that he'd been tuning into the podcast, and just hung out. And he was just the sweetest, nicest dude. And I remember turning to you guys. I go, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And they're like, "I don't know." Like nobody knew who he was. He was just like, "Well, this." He's like, "You guys are going to adopt me, whether you like it or not." And we did. And thank balls that we did. Because he's just such a good dude.
Such a nice guy. We love this guy.
Unless you're doing raffles.
People out
if you're doing raffles, you don't want him around.
No.
If you want to win shit, tell him to stay the fuck home. But good luck, because he doesn't stay home. He comes to everything. Like everything.
First time I think I met Andre was the very first time I did the Riddler. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be dope. I'm going to be the only one doing this. And then Andre's there doing the Riddler as well. All right. And that's some of the very first time. I don't even think I met Andre officially, and we were doing photo shoots together. I love this. I love this cyberpunk look. Like, it works so good.
Yeah, and I love that he's got like a wide range of cosplays that he does too, right?
He does.
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm
the cool part.
Unfortunately trying to load it.
Like it's like you said, he's got his Riddler from the Batman. He does Rorschach from Watchmen. He's got that cyberpunk look that he does as well. He's working on his blade. Like, I love how he's like ranging far afield. You know how some of us get, right? Like, we get into a genre and we just like beat the holy shit out of that genre. Yeah. But Andre's like just all over. Yeah, there you go. So there's his Riddler.
Yep.
And then you two ended up having a Riddler off at some point too, did you not? Like, you guys had some interaction at some point. I feel like at one of the Toronto shows.
I want to say Toronto Comic Con.
Yeah, it was
For
when
sure we're in a north
the photo park was at the left of the escalators.
Yeah, in the north building. Okay. Yeah, I remember that. Well, I have a bunch of pictures actually of you
I
guys
love
together.
this to the Batman Merry Christmas.
Yeah, dope. That's not creepy at all, Andre.
Yeah.
No, that's not gonna. That's not gonna haunt me when I sleep. But thanks for that.
Not at all.
It's fantastic.
And like I said, if you go check out Andre's Instagram, you're gonna see that he's literally at every event, every con.
Yeah, this is his Instagram, and it's just pictures of everybody else that he runs into at a con. This is the kind of guy Andre is. Everybody else's Instagram is just like pictures of them repeatedly. Andre's like, no, I'm just gonna post whatever the fuck I want. Like, that's JS and I saw that one on I'm pointing with my finger like you can see it. I'm such an idiot. This is Anime North, actually. So JS and I saw this dude walking around outside at one point. Another show where like JS and I, we're at Anime North, but we're like in the back building with the video games, and we're just talking, and then we turn around, and who's there? Andre. Like, he's like Savoir Faire, man. He's like the fucking Pokeroo. Like, he just appears out of nowhere. And then people are like, yeah, you tell people like, yeah, your Andre was here. And he's like, no, that's not. You didn't see Andre. I'm like, no, I swear. Yeah. It's just creeping in the background, eh? These two have no idea he's there.
If you go down, you saw his
that's his Rorschach
lineup.
there with the Revan. Yeah.
Oh,
Rorschach, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. Yep.
Is that UJS? Yeah.
No.
Hang
on, let me go back here. Where did it go?
No, you went to a different post.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, that's not me, but that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is at. This looks like
Fan Expo Canada 2024.
Yeah.
So that's probably my buddy that does the Revan from the 501st. The deaf gentleman, Dan. Yeah.
I mean, I might not think
not as good as yours, obviously, but but it's not a competition.
Oh, look at
look at those assholes.
Yeah, this was a fun day actually. The Wolverine day was a wicked day.
Yeah.
We should really try to do another Wolverine day where there's a bunch of us. We should try to get more Wolverines together. I agree. That was pretty funny.
Dino, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Oh, his lineup. Yeah, good job.
Andre. Yeah, that's what I was pointing out, the lineup. Like, that's kind of a good shot of his range, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Watchmen, Batman, Cyberpunk, Beverly Hills Cop. That was good.
But no, Beverly Hills Cop 2. Make sure you get the right Beverly Hills Cop in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Axel Foley. Awesome.
Yeah, make sure you go check out Andre's Instagram. Make sure if you don't follow him, go give him a follow.
Let's scroll back to the top. Yeah, scroll back to the top so they can see what.
Yes, you're not following him. Follow him. Sorry, why
Oh,
don't we have
look,
a
and look
follow
again.
back?
Look,
Follow
like
back.
he's following almost 6,000 people, guys. This is how nice a dude this dude is. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
Whatever
follow
Give this
back.
dude
What
a
is
follow.
this?
Whatever account you're using, you're not following him. Like that's a bad look, man.
It is a bad
JS,
look.
you piece of shit.
It is a bad look. That's the and that's
Terrible.
the Geeks and Co account too.
Wow. Well, I'm glad we did that.
Yeah, that's the Geeks and Co account.
Don't
All
worry,
right.
I'm gonna talk to him about taking over that social account, but we
There
haven't
you go.
chatted about that yet.
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
Get
you're
someone
more
with
than
social
welcome.
skills
bud.
on there.
Yeah, I could use some help. I could use some
If
help.
you guys have a chance to interact with Andre at a show, and I got to tell you, he's one of the nicest, most approachable, friendly guys you're ever going to meet at a show. And like we've been saying all along, dude shows up for everything. Get a chance to chat with him a bit, follow him back on Instagram, interact with him. And he's, when we talk about the faithful, it doesn't get much more. Dude is here every single week.
We appreciate you, Andre. You're at
100%. And by the way, while Rob and I were shit talking on Myers Cosplay, his podcast on Monday Night Nerd, Andre was in that chat too. So I don't know what this dude does. I don't know if he's just like independently wealthy or that he can just tune into every podcast, go to every show. Like, I don't know what he does in his free time, if he has any of that, but Andre he's an OG and we love him. And we're very, very happy to have him as one of the faithful. And he's a pretty fucking dope ass cosplayer, guys. Check out his stuff for sure.
For sure.
Absolutely. Well, guys.
Jeff, before we go off the air, do you have any you have a tip of the week for the faithful?
I think I can probably do a tip of the week. Do we
Really?
have a
Well, maybe we have a new segment called Cosplay Confidential.
Can't believe we didn't call that. I can't believe we didn't call that just the tip. I can't believe we didn't.
Yeah, we gotta rework.
I can't believe we didn't call that just the tip.
That would have that. You know what? I may change that one.
We may have to call that just the tip. I don't. You know what? The tip this week is exactly what we were just talking about with Andre. Cosplay is for everyone, and I know we've been beating that horse forever on this channel. We're just three old guys that dress up and play pretend sometimes, but there's so much in the community talking about, like we were even talking about earlier, about competitions and you know, I'm always giving shit to the 501st and other groups that are, you know, exclusionary or whatever, but we try to make sure through our thing that we be as inclusive as possible. And I think it's really important for everybody in the community to do that because it really is a community and there's no barrier to entry. If you show up to an event and you have a costume on, guess what? You're a cosplayer. If you sit at home in your basement, you take pictures and you post them on Instagram, you're a cosplayer. So for us to be as welcoming as we possibly can to encourage people to come and do that makes our hobby that much better. It means more people doing it, means more events taking place, means better events taking place, means bigger guests, means better vendors, means bigger corporate sponsorships, means all of that stuff. We only get there together. And I'm proud to say, I'm very proud of this. There's a reason why I did this. It's not just so that JS and I could be gay lovers forever. It's because this is something, this means something. We've made this mean something over the past 3.5 years. So support your fellow cosplayers at the end of the day. Guys like Andre, people like everybody that we've got in the channel. I don't worry about what they're wearing or if it's not match or if it's not perfect or it's not, they didn't build it. They bought, who gives a shit about any of that? Support your local cosplayers, guys. That's your tip of the week. Next week, we'll work on it and we'll get a better tip. We'll give you a more factual tip. It will be just a tip, but it will actually be like we didn't have a chance to plan these. So I'm just working off the cuff here, but support your fellow cosplayers regardless of what they're wearing or what they're doing.
So really it's not a new flavor, it's just the same old shit.
Yep.
You know,
yep, same old shit.
We've just added little intros is what we've
so
done.
True. Thank you, Captain Daddy. You're welcome. Absolutely support your local cosplayers. 100%. Get your Captain Daddy shirt today.
Yeah,
all
well, no, but
go
soon.
to Geeks & Co.
Soon. That's the next thing I'll be working on. Guys, if you're still with us, thank you so much. Really love you guys and appreciate you guys. Make sure you click that like button. It really, really helps propagate the, okay, wait a second.
No. If you have feedback about the quote unquote new format where we've got things kind of broken up into specific segments, please put it in the comments below. Message us. Let us know. Get onto the Discord. Let us know if this format you think is better, it's worse, if there's tweaks, if we could do something, take something out, put something in. Let us know because this is sort of what it's going to be moving forward, barring things like top 10 lists or if we get a celeb on to interview. But the majority of the shows are going to look like this now. So let us know. Is this cool? Is it not cool? Is it, what can we do?
In the meantime, click that subscribe button if you want to make sure. Notification bell. click the notification bell if you want to make sure you know every time we upload a video. I think that's going to be it for this week. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you stay geeky. We'll see you on another episode. Hopefully, that's next week. I'm just going to let you guys just keep spoiling. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Geek Boutique Podcast. Like always, if you prefer to listen to us, you can find us on all major podcast platforms. Now, make sure you don't forget to click that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell to make sure you never miss an episode.